Episode 131. Are these comics going to make good film and television shows? We got Superman, we got Red Sonja, and we got the conclusion to Iron Man. Let's check it out right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows. I am your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. I am a line producer for the most part. And thank you to everybody who came to my class webinar session today. I think we had a good time. Most of everybody, anyway. So, yeah, it was about just about 4.5 hours, so I talked myself apart here. So I'm recording this at like 1:30 in the morning. I'm not sure when I'm going to have it come out. But if you'd like to check out anything that I've written, you can go to the description below and click on my Amazon link, and it'll take you to all my books and comics and graphic novels and things to that effect. And on top of that, if you'd like to give me a like, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel if you can. But let's jump into Superman. This is by Joshua Williamson, one of the few books that I don't think he's writing much anymore. He started to drop off titles, pretty much back and forth. This is a tie-in to Absolute Power, which I can give a crap less about. I really wish that they would stop with all of these events. I'm just so over. We just finished a Superman event, and now we're jumping into another DC-wide event. It's like, oh, we stopped one. We got to jump into another one. What's the next one? Oh, this is done in 2 months? Well, in 2 months, we got to start another one. Let's not even wait 2 months. We'll just wait 3 weeks. While we're running one event, we can pump it to another event. I'm so tired of it. We were better off just having the book itself instead of all of these. I think Jeremy stopped Green Lantern like 3 times now for events. And he's only like on, number 11. It's crazy. So we start out, this is after Superman has been shot and his powers have been taken away by Amazo, which we never even saw Amazo even touch him during any of this. Why he left that thing even going, if it touched him, I don't know. But meanwhile, we talk about, this is the intro to Zatanna, and Clark is giving a magic show to his adopted parents who could give a crap less about it. And then we see him basically on the operating table. They are trying to take the bullet out of him. I guess they said it went straight through, so I guess they're trying to stop any internal bleeding, etc. But somebody said it was a kryptonite bullet. It wasn't. It was just a regular bullet. So Waller is controlling all of these Amazo robots that are taking everybody's powers. And now we go into Zatanna. Zatanna's out and about when there's a curfew. Now, how'd they get this curfew done nationwide? I don't think Waller has that kind of power. So I'm calling bullshit on that. But anyway, it's Zatanna. So she has no powers. Somehow Amazo was able to take her magical powers. It doesn't make any sense, man. None of this makes any sense whatsoever. That a robot can physically remove magical powers from somebody. Or literally remove your DNA that makes you an alien. So you can no longer have your powers. It makes no sense. I can't wait for this to be over already. I'm calling bullshit. It makes no sense. So now we see that Batman taught her how to fight, so she's fighting off these guards, and then Mercy comes out of the sky to rescue her and takes her to the Fortress of Solitude, where there's a whole bunch of different superheroes having refuge in there. We have a little fight, between Blue Beetle and Red Tornado, because he's a android, so he's like, oh, can we even trust the android? So, anywho, Superman's now up and about after he's off the operating table. And he gives Mercy a hug. He's like, it's not your fault, baby. It's not your fault. Give Daddy a hug. Give Daddy a hug. So anyway, they're like, Zatanna's like, well, we have to do something. We can use magic, etc. I don't care. We have Amazo robots running around, and we have Lex Luthor, who, from the last event, has been mind wiped, and that's his, with the hat is Lena, his daughter. And then we have, I keep wanting to say Livewire. I don't think it is. It's Banshee, Silver Banshee, and we have Jimmy Olsen. They're doing it in the back room as often as they can. And then we have these guys. Waller's guys show up. Of course, the guy from the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, and Miss Peacemaker. And they're about to blow everybody's brains out, except that we have a whole bunch of shots come out of nowhere and blow them all away. And then we find out that it's Lois in a LexCorp suit. Okay, whatever. Don't care. Don't care. It's going to make a good movie or television show. No, the event is stupid. Stupid. So let's just move on. I guess I'm just going to spend money. I don't even know if I'm going to pick up the other Absolute Power things. I just hate it so much. That's just... I don't want to finish... I don't want to stop my run in between like Superman. So I'll keep getting that. But anything else that has to do with the event, I'm out. I'm out. I'm done already. It had one... I think they have one or two books, and I'm already done. So this and Green Lantern, pretty much that's it. All right, so let's jump into Iron Man. So this is the conclusion of Jerry Duggan's run. I usually don't... He has done some stuff like independent stuff. Like he did a thing about like King Arthur, like his sword and stuff like that in a contemporary time period that I thought was kind of decent. This had some really good stuff to it, where we had the Sentinel program that was run by Fei Long or whatever else, and Orcus stole Stark's technology. And they were using the Iron Man technology to build Sentinels. I thought that was a good idea. And to kind of get Fei Long off of their track or whatever else, or off Tony's track, he ended up marrying just for looks. I don't really understand how that worked. But for looks, he married Emma Frost and the White Queen from the X-Men. And they ended up having a very decent relationship as far as I'm concerned. I thought there was actually a pretty good match. We'll get into this right now, but Fei Long he put into some kind of a casket or whatever else on the end of the last one. And so we don't really know what happened to him after that. And then on top of that, Rhodey was imprisoned because he was charged with something. So this is going to tie everything up in one issue. So he already beat Fei Long. He has no money, by the way. All his money's gone. So we're going to wrap everything up so that the next writer can come in from ground zero, I guess. It's very strange. I'm not, off the top of my head here, I'm not a big fan of this issue. He lands here. I'm really not a fan of the black armor either. I don't really like it. We get to see She-Hulk in here defending Rhodey, but they just let him off. They're like, oh, we're just going to drop the charges. It's going to drop it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. We're just dropping the charges. Like, okay. I guess if you want to finish it up, that's how to do it. I'm sorry that we imprisoned you, by the way. My bad. And then we get Fei Long, who's in this cage. Now, how he's getting food, how he's keeping sane, being in solitary confinement, I don't know any of that. How he's exercising, where he's going to take a shit, I have no idea. I never understand these self-cages things. But anyway, we got to see the old armor, which this part I think is kind of cool. He's got a holographic head on the armor. I missed the old armor, by the way. And the classic armor. But anyway, Fei Long tries to zap him with puke. And doesn't work, of course. And he's like, well, just tell me what you want me to do because I can't stay in here. And he's like, I don't want you to stay in here either. This is weird, too, that it becomes the helmet. It changes. I don't understand why. But he says, I want you to write down, the fact that you are agreeing that you did all of these things, and then we'll see what we can do once I have a full confession out of you. And that's where that kind of leaves. And I guess he was wearing the helmet to do that. And then he goes to sell his book at the bookstore and do a book signing. But we have no action in here yet, so we have to throw action in here as if it really fits, which it does not. So that's the cover of his book, which is Assembling Tony Stark. And why he's in like a bookstore in a tuxedo, I have no idea. That's weird. But anyway, we have Crimson Dynamo just show up just to kick his ass for whatever reason. His armor jumps on him, and I don't know, this is all just stupid. It doesn't need to be in here at all. But it's just a big action scene for no reason, and he's like, sorry about that, I'll buy the books that you got destroyed, even though I have no money. And then we have, her chest looks very strange there, by the way. He has dinner with her, and basically he wants her to stay, and she can't, so she leaves. This is the best scene in the whole book, is the two of them. And that's why I wish that was continuing. Maybe the next writer will continue it anyway. And she cries, but he tells her to go to a thing to get a gift. Meanwhile, she hands him all the coffers from, that's what he thinks anyway, from the house with, I forgot the group that she belongs to, the Hellfire Club, from the Hellfire Club. So she basically hands him like $2 billion. I'm calling bullshit on that too, by the way. So this is just a reset of everything, so he can go back to being a billionaire. So and Brody can be, so he's like, no, it's over. Oh, here's a few $1 billion. Everything is really, really convenient. But I think the art's generally good. So she goes and she finds, I guess the ghost dog gives her a book of like the cuckoos or whatever else, and she loves it. But anyway, so that's the end of that. They go, oh yeah, this is where he shoves in like real world politics for no reason. They go to this tree or whatever else, and they put, we're gonna fight against fascism. What? For no reason. None of this stuff has any reasons whatsoever. But I guess when this is where the money really came from. She was siphoning money. So all these people worked for institutions that siphoned money because she went into their heads of all the supervillains. So she siphoned money from all the supervillains. However, she got these real world people in these companies to do it. So what? They all lost their jobs because they stole money? Come on, man. And then on top of that, they just play basketball. Well, they play ton basketball. The ball itself is a ton. And then you go off and save the world, and they say that's the end. Because even on the bottom it says the end. So yeah, I liked a lot of pieces of the general arc, but this particular issue is garbage. Just garbage. I don't know what he was thinking, man. But the best part of that was the scene between him and Emma. That's it. That's the only scene. Everything else is just like, all right, I gotta finish this up. Here's your freedom. Here's some money. Oh, where'd we get that money? Oh, well, people lost their job, but we siphoned money from the villains. It's all right. It's all right. He didn't put any thought into this whatsoever. He was just, let's just get this over with. And that's exactly how it felt. I just want to get this shit over with. Anyway, it's garbage, unfortunately. Back to traditional Jerry Duggan, I guess. All right, so let's get into Red Sonja. This is by Thorin Grönbeck. And this is about the main villain is Kulan Goth, as he always is. She killed him, but he was able to come back from the dead through this portal. But a demon also came with him. Somehow he got the demon's soul. I missed that part. And the demon's soul is walking around as if it's got its own personality. And then she was saving this girl and who had a little sister. And they were brought to their family member's house, who is a magic user. And meanwhile, it's like there's just monsters just coming out of everywhere, attacking everything. And the girl ended up becoming like an angel, or like a fairy, but she looks like an angel. Her name is Grace. Meanwhile, Ymir, who is a giant god of the hunt, is awakened and starts to hunt back up, and he's just trampling villages. So Red Sonja's got to stop all this, plus Gulan Goth is using all this to his advantage to get power. And we see what kind of power that is in this issue. So there's Grace, now transformed into this woodland creature / Valkyrie. I don't know exactly what she is, but she looks pretty cool. And meanwhile, the kingdom that's getting attacked, there's Ymir, the giant, and the magic-using ant came in with all these other giants to come help attack him, but it's not doing a bit of good. But anyway, there's the demon that came across with Kulan Goth, and he's like, oh my god, he's got my soul, what am I going to do? And that thing is the soul. But I didn't get that from the previous issue. Kulan Goth is, of course, being a complete dick, and, they're facing off, and he's on this, undead wolf, and she's making fun of the wolf. And, of course, she goes to attack him because, as he said, she's just a blunt instrument, and he has his dark magic attack her, but she's got some kind of a ward in her hand to break out of it. But here comes the demon guy to come down to Kulan Goth, and he's like, I want my soul! And he's like, come and get it, because you're not gonna have it. And then we still have that's the ant right there, the dark-haired thing, woman, and there's the queen below her. And we have this creature, or whatever, this general that's about to kill the little girl. And she's like, help me, Grace, help me! And Grace comes up in her, in controlling everything, kind of like poison ivy. And these things come up out of the ground, and she just squishes him. And you can see that she breaks his arm right there in that one. So she's like, you will not pass. And she like and Ymir's like, who is that? Even though she's like 2'2" compared to him. So meanwhile, Kulan Goth is making a deal. I will give you back your soul if you give me your undead army. And he's like, I don't know, it doesn't sound like a good deal. But meanwhile, as they do make the deal, and he is giving back the soul, and he is basically trading his army at the same time, she hits him with that ward. So when he gives back the soul, it doesn't go back into him because he misses. Instead, it goes into Red Sonja, and they're like, oh shit, Sonja's got my soul. And he's like, well, I did it. She just happened to get in the way, so I'll take your undead army. See ya. So they go up to address Ymir, and they're like, we need your help because Kulan Goth's a bad guy, and we need your help to go kick his butt. And it's not going to be good for any of us. So meanwhile, he's having a bad time saying, Sonja's got my soul. He's all crying. And meanwhile, he's still like, hi, little people. And this is where they tell him that we need your help with Kulan Goth. And he's like, you're giving me demands? They're like, no, we want your help. But Sonja's being, kind of too stern. So Grace comes in and tries to reason with him, and he's like, I will help you, winged woodland creature! So we have this battle take place, and now everybody's like, those poor ghosts are getting ripped in half. They didn't know what that was going on. So we had to have this big battle going on with all of these things, and he's like, I want my soul back! And that's where it ends so far. So, yeah, I like it. I like it. So, let's do a recap. Red Sonja, I'm really hoping that this Red Sonja movie that they're working on right now never gets released. Because even the casting is horrible. So if the casting's horrible, I can just imagine what the movie itself is going to be like. It's just going to be trash. So I would like to see a good Red Sonja movie, and against Cool and Goth, and having all these monsters all over the place and giants, and it all seems good to me. Iron Man, no, this is trash, but I do like this whole thing with the Sentinels, and I like him being with Emma. So there's those two pieces that could be made into a good movie, but there's just a lot of stuff. The whole Rhodey thing, being in prison, the whole thing with him losing his money, just all that, the whole thing with Fei Long, all that stuff needs to be just removed completely and just leave the basic story. And Superman, no, I don't like the whole absolute power thing. I'm over it already. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it if you watched all the way through. Remember to give me that like, give me that thumbs up. If you can, subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding, and help me grow that channel out. And then on top of that, if you want to read anything that I've written in the past, remember that the description below has my link to my Amazon page for my novels and graphic novels. And I'm also on Audible, too, with Destiny Aurora. All right, check out some other videos before you leave as well. And I'll see you guys on the next episode. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.